All right, folks, welcome back to DragonWorks once again. Getting started here on the 1997 Harley Fatboy. Customer stated it wasn't running correctly and had to choke it to keep it idling and what have you. So I'm starting to dig into it. The very first thing I noticed was somebody had left the cables loose on the carburetor. After they installed the carburetor, they forgot to tighten up the slack in the cables. So it must have been a hell of a, you could turn the throttle almost a quarter way before it even engaged. So that must have been a miserable riding experience. Also, the vacuum line going from the carburetor up to the petcock and the vacuum advance and what have you is all cracked up. So he's having a leak there. Stand by, let me go over here to the carburetor. Yeah, so the other thing I noticed right away was they got the idle speed screw cranked all the way down. Got the screw, the spring all bound up there on it. That should never need to be like that. And what's happening is they're trying to overcompensate for something. Well, they're not trying to overcompensate. They are overcompensating for something. The butterfly is open way too far. It's not happy. You can see where it's trying to backfire right there at the bottom, and the sides are black around there. So it's got a really poor mixture there trying to idle. Probably runs great once you crack throttle wide open, if you can get to that point. But yeah, we got some things to address. I can see somebody, looks like they've been working on this carburetor before, because those elbows usually come plastic and they crack and they start leaking, and this is one of the fixes for it. But I don't know whoever worked on this carb ever took it apart, cleaned it, and checked all the adjustments or whatever. So yeah, we have several things that are an issue here. We're going to get them squared away. I'm going to get this thing all cleaned up, reset, everything. This bike's going to run perfect when it's done. So let's get busy. Hey, I just thought about this. Some of you may remember on that 2000 Harley Sportster that I'm doing a light restoration on, and we found this piece right here down inside the carburetor, you remember? And I can't remember if I ever showed exactly what it is, but this is what it is. It goes right here, and all that does is when you put this bracket on, it keeps you from over tightening it. Whoops, sorry. Let me get the camera up here. See that there? It's just a bushing, and this goes on top, and that keeps you from cranking too hard on it. And we found that piece down inside of the diaphragm here. Oh my, this poor carburetor. She has not been happy. Been backfiring like crazy. It's not supposed to look like that in there, folks. This area should be spotless. That's where the diaphragm sits. Diaphragm looks good, surprisingly. But you can see, once again, it started to scorch the plastic keeper on there where it's been backfiring. Yikes. All right, we're gonna get it running right. We're gonna get her healthy. Let's see what the bottom looks like. I'm not expecting to find this carburetor to be real gunked up or anything, but I know that the idle jet is going to be slightly clogged. I already know that, just by the way the bike's running. All right, let's see what we got. So somebody either has been in here or has been trying to get in here, because some of these screws, as usual, are all chewed up. So I don't know if they ever made it in there or not. These here look good. We'll find out. All right, as expected, it's not super dirty, but I am finding pockets of sediment in here. So sure enough, it only takes one of those tiny little specks to clog up the idle jet. The idle jet hole is like the size of the tip of a sewing needle. I mean, you can't hardly see through it sometimes with light. Somebody has been in this carburetor. I can see you might not be able to see it, the idle jet down in there. Okay, that's going to be to your left. Let me see. Let me get my light. You can see where it's been chewed up. The screws in the bowl were over torqued, so I can only imagine that that idle jet's over torqued, which may make it fun. Looks like they put in a... darn, you guys are looking at the wrong jet. Stop looking at those jets. Hold on. Whoa, you getting dizzy yet? Can't get the camera and the light in the same spot. Oh, well, you're probably going to have to just trust me. There, it's starting to come in focus. Way down in that hole there. See it? It's kind of all chewed up. Screw it. Take my word for it. I'll pull it out of there and show it to you. Okay, guys, now we can get a little better look at this terminal that melted away on this Harley. And this is all because of the fact that if I put the camera like this, well, here, let me go over here where it's not melted. And you can see, well, this one's started getting there. This terminal block sits back from this battery body. And you're supposed to have one of these spacers, okay? Stand by, let me get the new battery. All right, here's the replacement I'm putting in there. I've had a lot of success with these. The big crank, made in USA. This is the battery you want for a Harley right here. Proven performance. You see how it comes with this little thing here on the positive block? You see them little spacers? Okay, that's what goes in here, folks. Like I was telling you, you'll see when I get it hooked up. I'll show you. It goes right in here. But anyway, I just want to show you a little bit more of this, a little closer up, what was happening. And the reason it was happening is because the battery terminal, like you saw there in the video, was hitting here and wasn't up against that block solidly. So it was arcing across there trying to make connection because it didn't have a good solid connection. And that's what it looks like installed correctly. See the little spacer? The terminal's no longer hitting the battery, and he's got years of enjoyment and trouble-free service from here on out. Okay, guys, carb's back on. Got that all cleaned up, some new parts, some new gaskets in there, what have you. I got a rag wrapped around that breather tube right now so it doesn't spray oil mist all over the chrome. And I usually leave that air cleaner and everything off, check for leaks, do a little bit of adjusting, and then later on I'll put it all back on, take it for a ride, and do some final adjusting. But let's fire it up here. 70 degrees and humid. The bowl should be full of fuel. It should start up pretty quick. Let's see. I'll go ahead and choke it since it's basically a cold start. We'll try it full choke first and see what we get. pretty good for not even having the air cleaner on there yet. All right, guys, that's going to be it right this minute. Like I say, I gotta get everything put back on the bike, and then we can do some test riding. I already got the oil change and the battery change. I am going to be doing the transmission and the primary fluid. I was just waiting on some stuff yet. But that's going to be it for right now until we get out and get her a little test ride.